Great Nunatak. It's our largest tension tent, and these are the parts laid out in front of you. So what we have are the fly, the Vapex body, 2 halo sets, 2 poles that will help lift up the tension, and then a center ridge pole, and then 2 spiders. They obviously come with stakes as well, but we'll be setting it up on an internal frame that will be set up inside. So you can set your fly off to the side. You can start by connecting your halos, set those aside. Then you can put your tension poles together and also set those aside. And on the poles, you can actually adjust the height of the poles to give yourself more tension. So there's different sets that you can put it at to increase the tension of your tent, depending on the type of ground that you're on. You can also take your spiders and set those aside. There'll be 2 for each pole, or 2 overall, 1 for each pole. With the tension tent, you'll get 28 stakes, military grade stakes, that you will use to set the tent up. But since we aren't driving this into the ground to create our tension, we're setting it up against a frame that we've made custom to have set up inside. Or you can take your Vapex body, open that up. So if we were to be staking this out, we'd be using the military grade stakes for each of these loops along the side of the tent. We also would be clipping in the fly into these points on the tent. And those are located on each side of the Vapex body. You have vent tubes on each side, and you have doors on each side, and then you have windows on each side. And then additionally, you have an opening to take your propane tank hose in and out of the tent. This is conveniently located by the stove jack. Once you have your tent staked out, you'll want to take the halos and the spiders and bring them over the areas where you'll be attaching your poles. Now keep in mind when you set up your spider, you want to set the spider up in each corner of the halo. Then you'll take the halo and you'll clip it into the Vapex body. Once you have the halos set up and clipped in, this is what it'll look like. Remember, have your spider connect in the corner of the halo. The next step is you will take your ridge pole and you'll connect it to the spiders. This will give you additional support across the center of the tent and prevent any sagging or snow loads to build up. Then you'll prepare your other poles at each end of the tent. before you put your fly over the top.
You can also roll up your doors. That will help it be a little bit easier to get inside your tent when you're ready to lift up.
At this point, you're ready to put the fly over top of the Vapex body. And you'll probably want to have 2 people help you set this up. It'll be a little bit easier to drape over the top. Okay, so we'll take the fly, we'll pull it over the top. At this point, you want to make sure that your stove jack is lined up with where your stove will actually be. So in order for your stove to go up easily, you'll want to take the Velcro and roll it back, because it'll be hard to get to this once it's raised up in the air. At this point, we'll look underneath the fly and we'll find those additional points to clip into. So you'll want to look for the clip and the corresponding clip from the Vapex body. And sometimes you don't get it right the first time, but once you go up in the air, you'll have a little bit of room to get underneath and be able to see that. Now, we'll get somebody on each end, and we'll go inside the tent and lift up. And bring your pole with you. Once you have the 2 poles and the ridge pole up and through the spiders with the fly on top, you want to go around the fly and adjust it to make sure that it's taut, and clip in any of the clips underneath to the Vapex body that you might need to. And then stake out each side to make sure you get a nice tight rain fly. On the inside, we have areas to store any overflow items like headlamps, cell phones, cameras, binos. And then you have a vent tube on each side. You have your stove jack in this area. Windows on each side. And another vent tube there.